In 1998, a man declared independence from a lawn chair in a Florida backyard. His name was never recorded because he immediately forgot it after the declaration. But the U.S. government sent a tax audit to a garden gnome instead of a diplomat. He claimed sovereignty over his neighbor's sprinkler system and demanded a royal tax in monopoly money. The absurdity of the situation escalated when Florida officials debated whether to recognize his lawn chair flag as a legitimate symbol. The IRS showed up with a spreadsheet and a sense of betrayal. Micronations are the real-life version of "I'll be the king of my own tiny kingdom," and the Republic of Molossia is the OG. It's just a guy in a shed in Nevada with a flag that says Molossia and a constitution that's basically a Google Doc. His royal family includes a dog named Sir Barksalot, who once got a passport. The Principality of Seborga, meanwhile, is a real place in Italy that thinks it's a sovereign nation because it's got a castle and a guy named Gianfranco who wears a crown made of Legos. The lawn chair became the ultimate symbol of "I'm serious, but also not." It's like if a king ruled from a recliner and called it the throne of leisure. A 1985 Saturday Night Live sketch had a guy sitting on a folding chair yelling, "I am the sovereign state-o folding chair," until a dog walked in and ate his flag. The sketch ended with the dog wearing a crown. The joke? The U.S. government actually sent a cease-and-desist letter to the dog's owner. The phrase, "declaring independence from a lawn chair," didn't stay in the shadows for long. By the late 90s, The Onion got in on the act, publishing a 1999 article titled "Local Man Establishes Sovereign State of Hammock," after discovering it's unclaimed by the government. The piece mocked a king of the internet who ruled from a hammock, demanding taxes in Wi-Fi signals and declaring war on corporate overlords who refused to let me nap. The article was so absurd, the U.S. State Department actually called to ask if it was a real diplomatic crisis. Spoiler, it wasn't. Then came the 2000s, where internet forums turned the joke into a full-blown meme. On 4chan and Reddit, users created fake micronations with flags made of duct tape, constitutions written in Comic Sans, and presidents who were just cats with tiny crowns. One thread, titled "Sovereignty from a Beanbag Chair," had users debating whether a nation could exist if its only territory was a single beanbag in a college dorm. The most popular meme: a guy in a lawn chair wearing a "I am the king" shirt with a sign that read, "No taxes, just tips." But the real kicker, a 2015 paper in the Journal of Postmodern Historiography titled "The Absurdity of Absurdist Nation Building" used the phrase to critique how micronations reflect real-world power struggles. The author, Dr. Lila M. Wexler, wrote, "A nation built on a lawn chair is a metaphor for how sovereignty is often less about legitimacy and more about who's loud enough to yell, 'I am a state,' in a room full of people who also have lawn chairs." The paper was so ridiculous, it got cited in a New York Times article about why historians should take memes seriously. And just to wrap it up, the only thing more absurd than a lawn chair nation is the guy who still thinks it's real. In 2001, a Scottish man named Colin McFife tried to claim the entire region of Fife as his own kingdom, using a lawn chair as his throne during a protest outside Edinburgh Castle. He wore a crown made of mismatched garden gnomes and demanded taxes in Scottish shortbread. The local council responded by sending him a cease-and-desist letter written in Comic Sans, which he printed on a lawn chair and hung outside his flat. The only thing more absurd than his crown was the fact that his royal advisor was a parrot named Sir Squawkington, who once pecked a journalist's microphone during a press conference. Meanwhile, the Bermuda Triangle's reputation for swallowing ships got a new twist when conspiracy theorists claimed the missing vessels were actually absorbed into a secret micronation called the Lawn Chair Archipelago. According to a 2003 documentary, the archipelago's prime minister was a ghost who communicated via a Ouija board, and its only law was no one can be late to a meeting. The documentary was so bad, it got banned by the International Maritime Organization for promoting chaos. But the real pièce de résistance came in 2010, when a guy in Ohio live-streamed himself sitting on a lawn chair in a Walmart parking lot and declaring sovereignty over the entire state. He called himself King Chuck, wore a cape made of discount store towels, and issued a royal decree that all shoppers must bow to him before entering the store. When a cop showed up, he asked, "Are you arresting me for sitting on a chair?" The cop replied, "No, but you're being arrested for public indecency and pretending to be a king." The video got 12 million views, and King Chuck's royal tax of 50 cents per shopping bag was briefly adopted by a vegan commune in Oregon. The only thing more absurd than a lawn chair nation is the guy who still thinks it's real. The legacy of the lawn chair nation isn't just a punchline. It's a cultural tattoo that's been etched into the DNA of internet absurdity. By the 2020s, the phrase had evolved into a full-blown aesthetic. TikTok trends saw people filming themselves declaring independence from IKEA beanbags, while influencers sold sovereign state merch with flags made of duct tape and constitutions written in Comic Sans. One viral video from 2023 featured a guy in a lawn chair yelling, "I am the Emperor of TikTok," until an algorithmically generated AI bot showed up and demanded a royal tax in likes. The video got 18 million views, and the guy got a cease and desist from the platform for overstepping algorithmic boundaries. Meanwhile, in academic circles, the phrase became a darling of postmodern scholars. A 2024 symposium at Yale titled "The Lawn Chair as a Metaphor for Post-Colonial Sovereignty" drew crowds of confused grad students and one guy who showed up in a lawn chair and demanded a tax in coffee beans. The symposium's most famous line, "A nation built on a lawn chair is the ultimate satire of statehood, because who needs borders when you've got a recliner?" But the real kicker. In 2025, a Florida man named Gary the Throne Thompson actually filed a lawsuit against the state, claiming his lawn chair was a sovereign territory under the 14th Amendment. His argument? If the government can't tax a lawn chair, then they can't tax me. The court dismissed the case, but the judge wrote a note. Plaintiff is hereby ordered to stop sitting on his lawn chair during court proceedings. Also, please stop calling it a throne. And just like that, the lawn chair nation became a cautionary tale for anyone who thinks absurdity can be taken seriously. The only thing more absurd than a nation built on a lawn chair, the guy who still thinks it's real, and the judge who wrote a note in Comic Sans. If you love history but hate boring textbooks, hit subscribe or I'm calling the feds, and let me know in the comments which president would win in a bar fight. It's not Biden. It's definitely not Biden. The legacy of the lawn